Dating apps are the worst long-term dating strategy if you go abroad. However, they are a great initial dating strategy. But before we get into this video, welcome back to the channel, gentlemen. And if you are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm Joshua Hall. I talk a little bit about money, a little bit about travel, a little bit about dating, and a little bit about anything else I find interesting or entertaining. Now, with all that said, let's get into this video. Now, let me tell you two quick stories. So the first one, I met a girl on Tinder or Bumble or Hinge or one of those places, and one of the very first things she said to me was, "Wow, you look a lot better in person than you do in your photos." And this stood out to me kinda, but I didn't really think much of it until another girl told me that. And then another girl told me that. And so at a certain point, a light bulb goes off for your boy Joshua here. Not sure why it took this long. And I was like, okay. So every time I meet with a girl pretty much, they always say, "Wow, you look better than you do in your photos. What is going on here?" And to be fair, these women weren't like bad looking, but I wouldn't say they were on my same level. Not saying I'm like a Greek god over here or anything like that, but I think you guys catch my drift. Which, now that I think about it, they look better in their photos and I look worse in my photos, so it was like a inverse correlation kind of thing going. Like, I'm a X amount in person, but online I look like a Y amount, and in person these women were a Y amount, but in their photos they looked like an X amount. But that doesn't really matter. So obviously I got to thinking, and I was like, okay, you probably need professional photos and all that garbage, which, to be honest, I was not willing to do because I really did not care. But it showed me that if you want to be super successful, you need to put in an elite amount of work into your online dating picture and profiles. And even then, I'm still not quite sure what kind of results I would have gotten. But also, and this is maybe the more important story, is when I was doing kind of night game. It wasn't really a night game. I was doing what I mentioned in a previous video. I was just building a social circle. So I was just talking to people and making friends, which in the previous video, I didn't mention this, but it might be a good idea to friend zone some really pretty women in order to bring more pretty women into your social circle, but totally different topic for a totally different time. So anyway, I was building out my social circle and I ended up going out on a date with a certified like 9, maybe 9.5. And we were just shooing the shit or whatever. And she randomly just brought this up to me. And she was like, "Your Instagram photos look so much worse than how you actually look in person." And I was like, that's interesting. The 9.5, and I'm talking certified banger here, which, no pun intended, is telling me that I look way better in person. And and I actually got this woman out on a date from meeting her in person. And so that's when this clicked for me. And that's the fact that day game, social circle, nightlife, all that stuff is way better for meeting higher quality women. And that is simply because in person, I can just get and attract a much higher quality woman than I can on dating apps. Maybe that's because of like my real life charisma or real life vibe or mannerisms or thing of that nature. But it's also because I simply just look better in person, apparently. And so that's one of the reasons I do not like online dating apps for a long-term dating strategy, because you simply will not get your equivalent level of matches. So if you are relying solely on online dating, you are probably dating down. Whereas if you are relying on social circle or nightlife to some extent and building a social circle, or dare I say cold approaching, then you're likely going to get at least your equivalent, or maybe even shoot up a peg or two. And so that's why for long term, I believe that in person is much, much better. Specifically social circle, but social circle in my opinion involves doing some cold approach, whether it's day game or night game, because it's going to be really hard to build a social circle if you don't do some cold approach. And I'll link you back to the other video I made so that you can get some tips for building a social circle so you can date 9s and 10s if that's what you want to do. But if you're just looking for a quick weekend warrior, notch in the belt kind of thing, then online game is perfectly acceptable for most people. Really depends on what you're looking for and the quality of woman you are looking to attract. And if you want to date up or down the spectrum, obviously, I would recommend dating up a peg or two. But that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, helps your boy with the algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, peace, much love.